It's easy to think about finesse fishing as light line, small lures, tough days, and spinning gear. But we have to find the fish first, right? It seems obvious, but as soon as we switch over to that finesse fishing mode, as anglers, we run the risk of not covering enough water to see where the bass are holding. This is where that idea of finesse searching can make a huge difference before we start to use finesse presentations to break down one spot. Well, there are 5 that I love to use. And the key here is we have to get in the mindset that we're looking for one fish to reveal themselves, because odds are there's more down there. We don't even have to catch that fish. We just have to have it say, hey, there's something going on over here. Number 1 is a real subtle swimming worm. So not these big, huge, more power fishing worms, but a smaller worm and swim it, whether it's got a curly tail to it or we add a spinner to the end of it, whatever it might be. Now, a swimming worm is naturally more subtle than something like a spinnered bait, but they allow us to really cover some water and fish it up in the water column, and then we can even drag it along the bottom. But the key is we can search pretty efficiently with this. Number 2 is a really small swim bait, something 3 inches or less. Once again, this allows us to cover water, but it's smaller in size that can get bass to follow it, or maybe, come out from cover and, take a peck at it. And it's one of those lures. It's not that big swim bait where we're only fishing for a few bites and, we're hoping for a giant. The complete opposite of this, going with that smaller swim bait, is we're looking for bass to tell us where they are at, and that smaller size is perfect for that. Along with that is a tiny crankbait. These really small, tiny crankbaits. Oftentimes people use these on their BFS systems, but a small crankbait is another tool that can cover a ton of water and get bass to reveal themselves, where then we can target an area and slow down. The next one I use all the time is a shaky head, but I drag it. I keep that reel handle moving and let that shaky head scoot along the bottom. It's not as fast as a swim bait or a crankbait, but it still allows me to cover water quicker than throwing something out there and leaving it soak for a long time. And the whole key is I'm looking for that one bite. I want that fish to reveal where others are sitting. And the next one that we often forget about, and it's kind of because of the name, and that is a power shot. But remember, the only difference between a power shot and a drop shot really is you're using a heavier weight. That heavier weight allows you to make longer casts. It allows that lure to get to depth quicker. I use a power shot rig all the time for searching for fish on these tough summer days. It's a really great presentation. And if you approach your day with this finesse search approach, it's going to get you on bass so much quicker, where then your presentations like your Ned rigs and your Neko rigs, these types of things, can really dial in and just offer you up a great day of fishing. But it's all about that mindset. Find that one first, as opposed to starting off with that soaking finesse lure type of a method. And if you don't have past history on a lake, or you're not sure where the high percentage areas are, you could spend the majority of your time fishing empty water, which is what we want to try and avoid. And hey, if you want to watch a video on something that I'm experimenting with as far as finesse type presentations, lures, and being able to be seen from a distance, go ahead and check this one out right here. I'm interested to hear your opinions on this, and make sure that you go out and encourage someone today. You never know how you might just change their life. For the Bass Fishing Life, I'm your host, Steve Rogers.